Well, here's a black version of it. It's waxed UTC 280 waxed thread. Gel spun, you can, shit. Put that backwards, hit that mic. Yeah. Okay, so the thread that I'm using also is 280 UTC waxed. You can use gel spun, there's nothing wrong with gel spun. Gel spun's better for spinning hairs in certain situations. I just like the wax because I feel like it grips it better. If you're gonna just spin a body of all one solid color, use gel spun. I mean, there's nothing that, it's really good stuff. But for what we're gonna do here, where we're gonna be packing layers on top of each other to get a good colored body, I'm gonna use wax because it grips the hair a little better. And what I did right there is I just put a small dab of Zap-A-Gap on there, and it's gonna keep my thread from slipping off this hump, because what I'm gonna do is right now is I'm going to start on the hair that's gonna flare over the back of the fly, which for that color I'm going to use white. So all the hair that I'm going to use for spinning is belly hair, not deer tail, no, not buck tail, not body hair. You can use body hair, it's okay. I just like I like belly hair because it tends to be a lot thicker. And the thicker the hair is, the more air that you have, the more they're hollow. So the thicker they are, the better they flare out. So you can get a much tighter body. So I'm not even going to stack this stuff. Well, no, I'm not even going to stack it. Screw that. Too much work. And plus, if you get a good cut, you can get them pretty even. I still got these tails up here, or butt ends up there. So what you can do is hold it over your trash can. And what you want is right here. Okay, what you want is, you want these right here, which is, I got the long ends in here, but you want all these little fibers in here to be completely even. And so what I'm gonna do is 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna tighten my thread up. About glued my finger to the thing. You know? Take 1, 2 wraps, and this is your first one. So I'm just gonna let it spin right up underneath, or kind of give it a little bit of help. Okay. White, and then I'm going to use some green. Green, I keep saying green. It's chartreuse. Once again, even up those butt ends with your scissors. Just make a small cut. Put that right on top. Pull your thread tight and kind of weave your way through these right here. Make that flare out. Make sure I get the camera focused again. There we go. And then orange. I haven't opened this orange yet. This is a fresh piece. So these first couple cuts are going to be kind of hard. And messy, apparently, too. Okay. Pull your thread tight, and weave up there, and weave back down, and then pull, and then take your thumbnail. I'm gonna take my thumbnail and push and pull up on the hook, and then as you do that, pull your thread tight. So I'm gonna take my finger right here, put my thumbnail right where the thread is, and then pull tight. And then you're gonna take your thread and weave it through, and as you're weaving, pull tight. And then once you get there, I'm just gonna pack it back. It's gonna slide back a little bit. Pull tight, and then right in front of where it all starts, make 1, 2 wraps, or 3. Sometimes more. 2 will do right now. Cool. That's about all there is to it. So now we just keep working our way down the hook. And what I'm gonna do is, is I'm gonna make the belly of this fly completely white. And the top part will be colored. Or have the colors in it. So get you a good sized pinch of white. And now what we're gonna do is we're not even stacking it. Just get a piece of hair, get all the under fur out, all the short fibers by pinching the very tips of the hair you get. Well, it's falling apart in my hands almost. Okay. Cut all the tips off. And don't just cut just the very, very tip. You want to kind of cut them in the thick part of the hair. I'm going to put it on there. 1, 2. Let her spin all the way around. Right there. And grab another pinch of white. This is a fresh piece of white too, so it's kind of hard to get them in there because you haven't found like that flat surface. I don't know why, but the body hair, whenever you get it, so here's a fresh piece of body hair, and you can see, well, you can see kind of the curve, how like they're all like that. Every piece of hair you'll ever get is kind of chunked up like that on the very end. Makes it hard to get them started. But once you get them started, you'll be able to cut and move it around and do all kinds of stuff with it. Some more white. Now green. Now chartreuse. Gotta quit calling it green. It's not. Need to get some oil for this chair. Lay it right on top. Pinch. You don't need to pinch it too tight, just kind of, because it's gonna kind of relax itself. Fluorescent orange is next. And then last, get you a pinch of black. That's about half as much as you're getting for the rest of the colors. Or about 2/3 will actually look better. Pull them tight and then wrap over, weaving as you go down. And then put your thumb right in the middle, pull up on the end of the hook, and then put your thumb here, and then kind of weave around and wrap through it. And then put your thumb on the hook right there, and pack it back tight. That was more than 2, but it needed it. Okay. Try to make sure the white kind of stays at the bottom. Now what I'm using right here is a Norvise system. If you've ever read anything on the Norvise or that, I use it for my saltwater patterns because it is good at building heads. It's great at covering up butt ends of deer hair. It's great for making dubbing brushes for saltwater patterns. Like you can make some awesome tarpon bunnies out of it by making dubbing brushes instead of wrapping cross-cut deer hair. I mean cross-cut rabbit fur, rabbit hide, zonker strips, whatever you want to call them. Instead of wrapping cross-cut rabbit strips, you can actually cut the fur off of them, and then make a dubbing brush, and it's a lot stronger and gives the body a lot better action. Now when you're tying these flies, you don't have to tie in your hair right against where you left your thread last, or right against the last pack. You can actually do it ahead of the hook and then push it back. You know, you only need to really do that. You only really need to go against where you left off when you're at the very end of the hook. And one thing to remember is when you do get to the end of the hook, just because you don't have much hook space, don't think you're done, because you really do got to get a ton of hair on here in order to get that good solid head look like you want. So white, and all I do is with the white, I just kind of let it spin around the hook to the bottom, and then I put my thumb on it and stop it, and then tie one more piece on top. And now we're going to go to the green, chartreuse. I'm just going to start calling it chartreuse green. Be easier. And you can tie these things in a variety of colors. I mean, you kind of set your own limit. Clean up real quick. One of the best things to have around the fly tying desk or when you're tying these is a small handheld vacuum. I keep a small Dirt Devil down by my feet, and I just pull it out from under the desk whenever I tie these, because you're going to get covered in hair, and your desk is going to get covered in hair, but it's really easy to clean up with this thing. Chartreuse, and weaving my thread around. And then push. Okay, and then black. Small pinch of black. And about 2/3 as much as you would usually want. The trick to spinning deer hair and making it look good is to first off, ow, hit my knee on the desk. First off, don't try to trim these things with scissors if you can help it. I use a razor blade, unless you're like you went to cosmetology school and you can cut real people's hair. I wouldn't try it, because it's really pretty hard to trim these things and get them symmetrical like you would like. So once you got that done, just kind of push it back. I don't think you can go buy a brass hair packer to push these fibers back on the hook. I don't do that. I mean, you can. I never really got around to buying one. Instead, what I did was I took a Bic pen like this, okay, and I just pulled the ink cartridge out of it, the ink tube. So what I do is take this right here and put it on the hook and push back. Or if you have a big half hitch tool, that'll work too. Anything that you can kind of slide over the eye of the hook and push back with works. Okay, that's good. So start over again. White. Once you get a recipe, try to follow it. It'll make the fly look a lot better. Instead of pull that black back. There we go. There we go. Instead of trying to mix it up and go up and down the fly, it'll work a lot better that way. And don't try to use too big of clumps. Everybody kind of has their limit about how much hair their fingers can hold, and you'll get the hang of it.